Dr. Alan Wright adjusted his formal Earth Alliance uniform as he walked through the gleaming hallways of the Galactic Concordats Central Archives. After 6 months as humanity's scientific representative, he still felt out of place among the various alien species that glided, slithered, or hovered past him. Earth had only joined the alliance of over 300 spacefaring civilizations a year ago, and humans were still novelties in the massive space station orbiting Proxima Centauri. Alan nodded politely to a passing Zixian, a tall insectoid being who clicked its mandibles in greeting. Today was important. He had finally received clearance to access the Concordats Hazard Classification System, a comprehensive database of dangerous planetary features across the known galaxy. Dr. Wright, welcome, said Curator Erden, a blue-skinned humanoid with 4 arms. Your species' curiosity continues to impress the Council. Thank you for granting this access, Alan replied. Earth scientists are eager to understand how our planet compares to others in terms of natural phenomena. Erden guided Alan to a crystalline terminal. The database is organized by planet, then by hazard class. Class 1 represents minor inconveniences, while Class 15 denotes extinction-level threats that require complete avoidance. Alan's fingers danced across the holographic interface, searching for Earth's entry. He expected to see moderate ratings for volcanoes, perhaps Class 8 or 9 for earthquakes and hurricanes. What he found instead made him laugh out loud, a sound that echoed strangely in the quiet archive. Is something amusing, Dr. Wright? Erden asked, 2 of his 4 arms crossing in confusion. I'm sorry, Alan said, pointing at the screen. There must be a translation error. This says Earth's oceans are classified as Class 15 hazards. Erden leaned closer, his large eyes blinking rapidly. There is no error. Your planet's hydrosphere is indeed one of the most dangerous environments documented in the Concordats' history. Alan stared at the alien, then back at the screen. The detailed entry described Earth's oceans as violently dynamic liquid environments with unpredictable energy patterns, extreme pressure variations, and high fatality probability. But people swim in the ocean every day, Alan said. Children play in the waves. Erden's skin paled to a lighter blue. Impossible. No sentient species would voluntarily enter a Class 15 hazard zone. Alan pulled out his personal device and showed Erden vacation photos from his trip to Hawaii last summer. This is me surfing. And here's my niece learning to bodyboard. The alien's mouth opened and closed several times without sound. Finally, he whispered, You intentionally balance on primitive boards while riding destructive energy waves. It's called surfing. It's fun. Alan shrugged. Wait until you see what we do with mountains in winter. Within hours, Alan's discovery had spread through the Concordat diplomatic corps. By evening, his office was flooded with messages from alien scientists demanding confirmation that humans regularly entered oceanic wave zones for recreational purposes. One particularly agitated message came from Ambassador Krill of the amphibious Noldorians. Please clarify if terms surfing, scuba diving, and whitewater rafting are accurate translations or elaborate jokes. Alan's colleague Olivia Martinez laughed as she read the messages over his shoulder. They think we're making this up, she said. We should show them. Show them what? Alan asked. Everything, Olivia replied, her eyes sparkling with excitement. Let's invite a delegation to Earth. Pacific Beach is hosting the Global Surf Championship next month. If they want to understand humans, they should see what we do with their so-called death zones. Alan hesitated, then slowly smiled. The diplomatic impact would be significant. Exactly, Olivia said. The Concordat thinks Earth is a death trap, but we turned their Class 15 hazard into a sport. It's time they learned what humans are really made of. As Alan sent the official invitation, he wondered how the aliens would react when they discovered that surfing was just the beginning of humanity's relationship with danger. Olivia Martinez stood on the warm sand of Pacific Beach, watching the morning waves roll in. The water sparkled under the California sun as surfers dotted the ocean. tiny figures dancing on the swells. Behind her, a group of 12 alien representatives huddled nervously under a large canopy, as far from the waterline as possible, while still maintaining a view of the ocean. They've been here for 3 hours, and not one has gone within 20 feet of the water. Ellen whispered as he joined her. Ambassador Xal keeps scanning the waves with some kind of threat detector. Olivia nodded toward the tallest alien, a 7-foot creature with silvery skin who wore an environmental suit, despite Earth's atmosphere being safe for their species. The Voraxians evolved on a desert planet with only small, calm pools of water. To them, our oceans might as well be pools of lava. "Are you sure this exhibition is a good idea?" Ellen asked. Half of them jumped when that kid kicked a beach ball near them. "Trust me," Olivia said with a smile. "Diego is about to change everything." As if on cue, Diego Reyes jogged past them toward the water, his red surfboard tucked under his arm. At 32, Diego was one of Earth's most celebrated surfers, with a relaxed confidence that made even the most dangerous waves look easy. The aliens watched in silent horror as Diego paddled out beyond the break. Their translator devices filled the air with concerned murmurs. The human enters the Class 15 zone willingly. No protective field detected. Survival probability decreasing with each meter. Senior Diplomat Xal approached Olivia, his silver eyes wide. "Director Martinez, your colleague appears to be committing suicide. Should we call for emergency retrieval?" Before Olivia could answer, excited chatter erupted from the alien group. Diego had caught his first wave, a beautiful 12-footer that curled perfectly as he rode along its face. His board cut through the water with practiced grace, his body shifting subtly to maintain balance as he navigated the rolling energy of the ocean. "Impossible physics," exclaimed a small green alien, frantically recording the event. "The human is controlling descent along the energy gradient." When Diego completed his ride and paddled back out for another wave, the aliens fell into stunned silence. Ambassador Krill, the amphibious Meldorian who had questioned Alan about surfing, moved closer to the water's edge than any of the others had dared. "Our species lives in shallow seas," Krill said, her large eyes blinking rapidly. "Yet we would never attempt to ride the water itself. How do humans train for this?" Alan saw an opportunity. "Would you like to learn? We have beginner lessons." The entire alien delegation backed away several steps, except for Krill, who looked thoughtfully at the smaller waves breaking near the shore where children played. "Perhaps a demonstration of your training methods would be educational," she said carefully. By midday, the beach had become an impromptu cultural exchange. Diego had been joined by other professional surfers who put on a spectacular show for the increasingly fascinated aliens. Several large screens had been set up showing slow-motion footage of wave mechanics and human techniques for riding them. The diplomatic staff had arranged for a small, calm tide pool to be sectioned off, where brave alien representatives could touch Earth's ocean water under careful supervision. Ambassador Krill had even allowed a human child to show her how to build a sandcastle, though she refused to get her feet wet. "This is working better than I expected," Olivia told Alan as they watched an alien scientist earnestly interviewing a teenage booby boarder about water collision survival techniques. "It's just the beginning," Alan replied. "The Galactic Council wants to send a film crew tomorrow. Apparently, news of humans riding death waves has gone viral across 16 star systems." Olivia smiled. "Then we better give them a good show. I've arranged for them to witness the big competition at sunset, when the real waves come in." The evening sun painted the waves gold and orange as the surfing competition reached its peak. Thousands of spectators lined Pacific Beach, cheering as each contestant tackled the massive waves that had built up throughout the day. The alien delegation had doubled in size since morning, with new arrivals rushing from the spaceport to witness the phenomenon that was causing a sensation across the galactic concordat. Senior Diplomat Xal stood on a floating observation platform 30 feet above the beach. The platform had been hastily constructed when several alien species refused to remain on the sand after learning about tides. Around him, alien scientists monitored equipment that measured wave energy, human vital signs, and what they called death avoidance variables. "The readings make no sense," said Dr. Isrit, a tentacled scientist from a gas giant moon. "These humans are experiencing pressure changes and acceleration forces that would kill most concordat species. Yet their stress hormones indicate enjoyment." Zal watched as Diego Reyes caught a 20-foot wave, disappearing into the curling tunnel of water before emerging with perfect timing. "Their evolution is unlike anything we've documented. They seem designed to challenge rather than avoid danger." On the beach below, Dr. Samantha Cole approached Alan with excitement in her eyes. As both a marine biologist and amateur surfer, she had been explaining human physiology to the curious aliens all day. "The Meldorian ambassador wants to try floating," she said, barely containing her excitement. "Not surfing, of course, but Ambassador Krill has agreed to enter shallow water with a flotation device." Ellen looked shocked. "That's a diplomatic breakthrough. None of them were willing to get wet this morning." They watched as Krill, the amphibious alien, nervously approached the gentle shoreline waves with 2 human assistants. Despite coming from a water-rich world, her species had evolved in calm, shallow lagoons and found Earth's dynamic oceans terrifying. She wore a specialized suit that would keep her safe, though the human instructors assured her it wasn't necessary in the gentle shallows. "Her courage will change perceptions," Samantha said. "If an ambassador willingly enters a Class 15 hazard zone, others might follow." Above them, the alien observation platform hummed with activity as contest announcer Greg Patterson's voice boomed over loudspeakers. "Ladies and gentlemen, get ready for the final heat. Our top 5 surfers will face the biggest waves of the day." The crowd roared as the competitors paddled out. Among them was Kelly Rodriguez, a legendary surfer known for riding monsters that most professionals avoided. At 42, he was older than the others, but moved with veteran confidence. On the platform, Saul noticed a change in the monitoring equipment. "The wave patterns are intensifying. Is this normal?" Dr. Isrit checked readings against Earth-ocean data. "These energy levels match what their scientists call rogue waves, unpredictable formations with destructive potential." "Should we warn them?" asked another alien. "They already know," Zal said, pointing to the beach where lifeguards were moving people back from the shoreline. Yet the surfers continued toward the danger. The crowd fell silent as Kelly positioned himself for the approaching wave. It rose higher than any before, a 30-foot wall of water that seemed to touch the setting sun. Alien monitors clicked and beeped frantically as they calculated the catastrophic forces about to be unleashed. "Physically impossible to survive," whispered Dr. Isrit. But Kelly turned his board, paddled hard, and rose to his feet as the massive wave caught him. The crowd erupted in cheers as he carved across the face of what the aliens' equipment classified as certain death. When Kelly completed the ride unharmed, Ambassador Krill looked up from where she had just experienced floating for the first time in knee-deep water. "I understand now," she said to Samantha. "It is not that humans don't fear the ocean. It's that your courage and skill transform fear into something else." As night fell and the competition ended, alien news crews transmitted footage across the galaxy. "I'm mourning. Over 40 billion beings from thousands of worlds would witness humans dancing with what their civilizations had always fooled." 1 week after the surfing competition, Dr. Samantha Cole led an unusual laboratory tour. The research facility overlooking Pacific Beach had been quickly converted to host the Concordat's leading xenobiologists. 12 alien scientists followed her, recording every word as she explained human adaptations to water environments. "Humans are approximately 60% water," Samantha said, displaying a holographic human body. "Our ancestors evolved from sea creatures millions of years ago. Though we live on land now, our bodies remember the ocean." Ambassador Krill raised a webbed hand. "Yet your oceans kill hundreds of your people annually." How do you justify recreational exposure to such danger? Samantha smiled. The same reason your species explores space despite the risks. Curiosity and challenge are deeply human traits. She led them to a testing area where Nathan Ford, a retired Navy SEAL, floated face down in a large tank. Monitors displayed his heart rate and oxygen levels as he remained motionless underwater. Nathan has held his breath for 4 minutes so far, Samantha explained. Trained humans can suppress the breathing reflex and slow their heart rate to conserve oxygen. The aliens murmured in disbelief. Most of their species could survive only seconds without breathing apparatus in similar conditions. Observe his circulatory adjustments, she continued. Blood flow redirects to vital organs. We call this the mammalian dive reflex, an ancient survival mechanism. Nathan finally surfaced, taking a deep breath before climbing out of the tank. He grinned at the startled aliens. Any questions about breath holding? He asked cheerfully. Dr. Ezrat stepped forward, tentacles waving excitedly. We've analyzed the surfing footage from yesterday. Human bodies experience forces underwater that would shatter most species' skeletons. How do you withstand such pressure? We're built to bend, not break, Nathan said. Let me demonstrate. In the next hour, Nathan and other human volunteers showed the aliens how humans could withstand temporary oxygen deprivation, pressure changes, and the physical impact of waves. When footage of children playing in surf was shown, several aliens checked their translator devices, certain something was being mistranslated. Your offspring swim in these conditions, asked a crystalline being from a low-gravity world. My daughter learned to swim at age 4, Samantha replied. Most human children can be taught to navigate moderate waves by 5 or 6 years old. The aliens exchanged looks that even across species boundaries clearly communicated shock. Later that afternoon, senior diplomat Saul met with Alan Wright on the observation deck overlooking the ocean. Surfers dotted the waves despite there being no competition today. The Concordat Scientific Council has requested permanent research access to Earth's oceans, Saul said. Your species has forced us to reconsider fundamental biological principles. Alan nodded. We're happy to share our knowledge and facilities. There is another matter, Saul continued. The Galactic Entertainment Network has contacted your government. Their viewing audience for yesterday's surfing broadcast exceeded 87 billion sentient beings across 12 galaxies. Alan nearly choked on his coffee. 87 billion. Most had never seen anything like it, Saul explained. They wish to establish permanent broadcasting rights to all Earth water sports. The terms would be quite favorable to your planet. Before Alan could respond, alarm sounded from Saul's environmental suit. The alien's silver skin paled as he looked toward the ocean. What is that human doing? He asked, pointing to a figure kitesurfing high above the waves. That's just kitesurfing, Alan explained. The wind pulls them into the air while they ride the water. Your species voluntarily combines Class 15 water hazards with Class 10 atmospheric dangers. Saul's translator struggled to convey his mixture of horror and admiration. Alan smiled. Wait until they see cliff diving. As the sun began to set, Olivia Martinez received an urgent message from Earth's diplomatic office. The Concordat Council had called an emergency session to create an entirely new classification for Earth's oceans. Class 15A. Extreme hazard environments, survivable by humans for recreational purposes. Humanity had officially changed how the galaxy viewed danger. 3 months after the first exhibition, Pacific Beach looked very different. Alien observation platforms hovered at regular intervals along the coastline. Specialized domes housed visitors from worlds with atmospheres unlike Earth's. Film crews with strange equipment captured every wave and human water activity for the endless appetite of galactic viewers. Kelly Rodriguez adjusted his wetsuit as cameras floated nearby. Since his legendary ride on the 30-foot wave, he had become the most famous human in the galaxy. His face appeared on entertainment screens across thousands of worlds, and children of various species asked their parents for Kelly water suits, even on planets without oceans. "Ready for today's broadcast?" asked Olivia Martinez. As Earth's newly appointed Director of Interspecies Sports Relations, she had negotiated the largest media contract in human history. "Just another day at the office," Kelly replied with a grin. But today wasn't ordinary. For the first time, the Terran Extreme Water Challenge would include non-human participants. After weeks of preparation and specially designed safety equipment, 3 alien species had volunteered to attempt modified water sports. On the beach, Diego Reyes helped adjust a floating board for Ambassador Krill. The Meldorian had progressed from simply floating in shallow water to attempting actual bodyboarding on gentle waves. Her government had initially threatened to recall her for reckless endangerment, but the incredible popularity of human water sports had changed their position. "Remember, stay flat on the board and hold these handles," Diego explained. "The wave will push you toward shore. It feels faster than it is." Krill's large eyes blinked nervously. "My species considers me either insanely brave or mentally unstable," she said. "Yet 5,000 Meldorians have applied to join the next Earth Cultural Exchange Program." Nearby, Alan Wright spoke with senior diplomat Saul, who remained safely distant from the water. "The economic impact has been remarkable," Alan said. "Tourism requests to Earth have increased 10,000%. We've had to build 4 new spaceports just to handle the traffic." "Not surprising," Saul replied. "You've revealed something profound about humans that fascinates the galaxy. Most species evolve to avoid danger. Yours evolved to master it." Their conversation was interrupted by cheers as Krill successfully rode her first small wave to shore. Though the wave was barely 2 feet high, what human children would consider gentle, for a Meldorian, it was like conquering a mountain. Meanwhile, Dr. Samantha Cole supervised the first attempt at scuba diving by a methane-breathing Voraxian. The alien wore a complex suit that maintained their atmosphere while allowing controlled exposure to water pressure. They moved awkwardly in the shallow area, practicing breathing through specialized equipment. "Amazing," the Voraxian scientist said through a translator. "The pressure sensations are unlike anything on our world. I understand now why humans find this addictive." By midday, the event had become the most watched live broadcast in galactic history. 112 billion viewers across the Concordat witnessed Krill ride a 5-foot wave, setting a new non-human record. The Voraxian completed a 10-minute scuba experience in 20 feet of water. Most surprisingly, a silicon-based life form from a high-gravity planet demonstrated unexpected skill at floating on the water surface. In orbit above Earth, the Concordat Council held an emergency session. The incredible popularity of human water sports had created diplomatic complications. Dozens of species were demanding access to Earth's oceans despite clear biological incompatibilities that made such activities potentially fatal. The Council voted to establish the Interspecies Water Adaptation Research Center on Earth's moon. There, species could study human techniques and develop appropriate safety measures before attempting actual ocean recreation. As the sun set on Pacific Beach, Nathan Ford watched alien visitors taking pictures near the shoreline. Some braver ones let the gentle surf wash over their feet or equivalent appendages. 6 months ago, they thought our oceans would kill them instantly, he said to Samantha. Now they're standing in the waves. Samantha smiled. That's how change always happens. One brave step at a time. 6 months into the galactic water sports phenomenon, Nathan Ford stood on the white sand beach of his new training facility in Maui. The Interspecies Aquatic Training Center sprawled across 10 acres of Hawaiian coastline, featuring pools of varying depths, wave simulators, and specialized environments for non-human biology. The shallow pool temperature is perfect for the Aqualax delegation arriving today, said his assistant, pointing to a readout. Their environmental needs are closest to human-compatible of all the registered species. Nathan nodded. The amphibious Aqualax were among the few alien species physically suited to Earth's oceans without extensive modifications, Though they preferred calmer waters than human surfers enjoyed, their natural swimming abilities made them ideal candidates for the training program. "They're here," his assistant said as a shuttle landed on the nearby pad. The Aqualax emerged, their blue-green skin glistening in the morning sun. With webbed hands and feet and gills along their rib cages, they looked almost like the merpeople of human mythology, though their large eyes and ridge-lined heads were distinctly alien. "Welcome to Earth," Nathan said through a translator. "We're honored to have your species as our first full immersion students." The lead Aqualax, whose name translated roughly as Swift Current, bowed slightly. "The honor is ours. Your oceans are legendary across the Concordat now. My people have swum in our calm seas for millennia, but never imagined riding water as humans do." For the next several hours, Nathan guided the Aqualax through basic floating and paddling techniques. Despite their natural swimming abilities, wave dynamics confused them. On their homeworld, large waves simply didn't exist. "Water should not stand up like a wall," Swift Current said, watching the training simulator create a 3-foot wave. "It defies the natural order." "That's what makes it exciting," Nathan replied with a smile. By afternoon, 3 of the Aqualax had successfully ridden small waves on specialized boards. Their natural balance in water gave them advantages even over human beginners. A small crowd of human instructors gathered to watch, applauding when Swift Current managed to stand briefly before falling. Across the island of the communications center, Olivia Martinez took an urgent call from the Galactic Entertainment Network. Virtual reality simulations of Earth's oceans have become the most popular entertainment in Concordat history, the alien executive told her. "Billions of beings who could never physically survive your waters can now experience the thrill safely." "That's wonderful news," Olivia replied. "There's more," the executive continued. "We want to feature real human instructors in these simulations. The authenticity would be valuable. Would Mr. Ford or Mr. Rodriguez consider licensing their likenesses?" Olivia made notes on her tablet. "I'll discuss it with them. The cultural exchange possibilities are significant." Meanwhile, at the Virtual Reality Center in downtown Honolulu, Dr. Samantha Cole watched as senior diplomat Zal experienced surfing for the first time. The silver-skinned alien wore a neural interface helmet that translated the sensations of catching a wave into signals his brain could interpret without physical danger. When the simulation ended, Zal removed the helmet with trembling hands. "Are you all right?" Samantha asked, concerned. "Better than all right," the diplomat replied. "I understand now. The feeling of moving with such power, balanced between control and chaos. It's exhilarating." "That's just a small wave in the simulation," Samantha said. "Imagine what Kelly feels on the big ones." Zal's expression changed to something Samantha recognized across species boundaries as respect. "Your people don't just survive Class 15 hazards. You formed a relationship with them." A dance. That evening, as the sun set over the Pacific, Diego Reyes sat with Ambassador Krill on the beach. After weeks of practice, the Meldorian had successfully ridden her first unassisted wave that afternoon. "My government has requested I document all training methods," Krill said, watching the waves. "They plan to create a similar facility on our world, in one of our larger lakes. It won't be the same without true ocean waves," Diego noted. Krill's mouth formed what humans now recognized as her species' version of a smile. "We know. That's why they're also planning regular excursions to Earth. Your world has become the galaxy's greatest adventure park." As stars appeared above them, news arrived that the Concordat had officially recognized aquatic sports as a category for the next intergalactic games. Humanity had turned a feared hazard into the galaxy's newest passion. Dark clouds gathered over Bells Beach, Australia, as competitors prepared for the Interspecies Surfing Championship. What had begun as a simple demonstration of human water sports had evolved into the galaxy's most prestigious competition. Today marked the first official tournament including both human and non-human participants. Lisa Barnes checked her board one last time before heading toward the water. At 26, she was the top-ranked female surfer on Earth and a favorite to win the human division. Nearby, Victor Thompson, her longtime rival, stretched as cameras hovered around him. Storms moving in faster than expected, he called to her, pointing at the darkening horizon. Lisa nodded. Weather satellites had predicted rough conditions, but the latest update showed a storm front accelerating toward the coast. Still, competition officials had decided to proceed with modified safety protocols. Above the beach, 3 alien observation platforms monitored the event. Unlike the hastily constructed platforms from the first demonstrations, these were sleek and advanced, designed to withstand Earth's weather while providing optimal viewing for visiting dignitaries. Dr. Samantha Cole approached the competition director with concern on her face. The meteorological office just upgraded the storm warning. Wind speeds could reach 60 miles per hour within the hour. The director frowned. "We have 18 billion viewers waiting for this broadcast. Can we get the main events completed before conditions become dangerous?" "Possibly," Samantha replied. "But I recommend moving the alien competitors to their transport vessels as a precaution. Their safety equipment wasn't designed for these conditions." On the water, Lisa caught her first wave of the competition. The building storm had created powerful swells that challenged even her considerable skills. She completed a complex maneuver that earned appreciative clicks and whistles from the alien spectators. As she paddled back out, she noticed Victor helping Swift Current, the Aqualax competitor, adjust his specialized breathing apparatus. Though naturally aquatic, the Aqualax struggled with the turbulent surface conditions that humans navigated with ease. Suddenly, a crackling alarm sounded from the nearest observation platform. The structure swayed dangerously as wind gusts intensified. Through the growing rain, Lisa saw frantic movement aboard the platform as alien crew members rushed to stabilize their equipment. A massive wave, much larger than those in the competition zone, struck the platform's support pylon. Metal groaned as the structure tilted at a dangerous angle. 3 alien diplomats, including Ambassador Krill, clung to the railing as emergency systems failed. "Platform 3 is going down," shouted a safety officer through the broadcast system. "Emergency vessels deploy now." Lisa looked toward shore. The rescue boats were already launching, but they would take precious minutes to reach the platform. The storm was intensifying by the second, and the damaged structure was starting to break apart. Without hesitation, she turned her board toward the platform. From the corner of her eye, she saw Victor doing the same. They locked eyes briefly and nodded, competition forgotten. "What are those humans doing?" Senior diplomat Saul demanded, watching from the safety of the command center. "They're attempting rescue," Alan Wright replied, his voice tight with worry. Something no species would consider possible in these conditions. The billions watching across the galaxy fell silent as Lisa and Victor paddled directly into conditions classified as unsurvivable by Concordat standards. When they reached the failing platform, they worked together to help the panicked aliens onto their boards. Lisa guided Ambassador Krill onto her surfboard, securing the terrified Meldorian with the leash normally attached to her own ankle. "Hold tight to my waist," she shouted over the wind. "I'll get you to shore." Victor had managed to get the other 2 diplomats balanced across his larger board. With strength born of years battling the ocean, the 2 competitors began the grueling journey back to shore. The storm intensified, walls of water rising around them. Lisa focused only on each paddle stroke, each wave. Ambassador Krill clung to her, experiencing the full might of Earth's ocean, not in a controlled sports setting, but in its true, awesome power. As they fought their way to shore, the galaxy watched in stunned silence as humans proved once again that what others classified as certain death, they considered simply another challenge to overcome. 6 years after humanity joined the Galactic Concordat, representatives from over 500 species gathered in the Grand Council chamber. The massive room hummed with translation devices as beings of all shapes and sizes waited for the historic announcement. Alan Wright, now Earth's senior ambassador, sat beside Olivia Martinez at the front of the human delegation. Behind them, Lisa Barnes and Victor Thompson fidgeted in formal attire, uncomfortable with diplomacy but honored to represent their sport. "Never thought saving a few aliens would lead to this," Victor whispered. Lisa smiled. Their rescue during the Australian storm had changed everything. What aliens had seen as a simple sporting event had become a profound demonstration of human nature. The footage of two competitors risking their lives to save diplomatic personnel had been studied in xenopsychology classes across the galaxy. Senior diplomat Saul, now promoted to High Chancellor, approached the central podium. The chamber fell silent. "Today marks the completion of a 6-year review of Earth's hazard classifications," Saul announced, his voice translated into hundreds of languages simultaneously. "When humans first joined our community, we believed their homeworld contained environments too dangerous for intelligent life. We were wrong in ways that have transformed our understanding of sentience itself." Holographic displays showed Earth's oceans from space, then zoomed in to show humans surfing massive waves, diving into deep waters, and navigating rapids. The Reclassification Committee recommends that Earth's oceans be formally redesignated from Class 15 Hazard Zone to Class 15 Hazard Sport Venue. Zal continued. "This marks the first time in Concordat history that a maximum-level hazard has received a dual classification." The chamber erupted in sounds of approval from hundreds of species. Some flashed colors, others released scent patterns, and many simply applauded in the human fashion they had adopted. Additionally, Zal said when the chamber quieted, "A special addendum will be added to all galactic records noting that while the danger classification remains accurate for most species, humans have evolved alongside these conditions and represent a unique case of biological adaptation." Ambassador Krill, who had become Earth's strongest advocate following her rescue, stepped forward. The scar on her face from the platform accident had become a symbol of her connection to humanity. "The Intergalactic Olympic Committee has officially recognized surfing, swimming, and diving as competition sports," she announced. "The first games will be held on Earth next year. While many events will remain human-only due to biological limitations, modified competitions will allow safe participation from 17 compatible species." After the ceremony, Diego Reyes, now Earth's sports ambassador, gave a speech at the reception. The former surfing champion had become the face of human athletics to the galaxy. "When we first met, you thought our oceans would kill you," Diego said to the gathered aliens. "Now some of you ride waves alongside us. Others experience our waters through simulators or protective equipment. But all of you understand something important about humanity now." He paused, looking around at the diverse beings. "We don't seek danger for its own sake. We face it, learn from it, and sometimes, when the moment is right, we dance with it. That's the human way." Later that evening, as celebration continued, Nathan Ford stood with Swift Current on a balcony overlooking the Concordat capital city. The Aqualax had become the first non-human to successfully ride a 10-foot wave without assistance. "My people are building ocean simulators on our homeworld," Swift Current said. "Our young ones want to feel what it's like to surf before they visit Earth." "They could just come to Earth directly," Nathan suggested. Swift Current made the clicking sound that humans now recognized as Aqualax laughter. "Parents are the same across the galaxy. They want their children to practice in safety first." Below them, a group of alien children played with toy surfboards, mimicking moves they had seen humans perform. "Look at that," Nathan said with a smile. 6 years ago, they feared our oceans. Now their kids pretend to surf." Swift Current nodded. "That is humanity's greatest gift to the stars. You showed us that what we fear most can sometimes become what we love best." As stars shone above them, the universe seemed a little less dangerous and far more exciting than before humans had joined the galactic community.